I'd like to call to order the City of Saugatuck's City Council meeting for Monday, July 27th. If the clerk could please call the roll.
Mayor, point of order.
Oh,
Pledge of allegiance.
pledge of allegiance.
Okay, I'll go ahead and do that first. If you could please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilmember Dean, for correcting me on that. I certainly appreciate it. Jamie, if you
I've
could
been
please
there.
call the roll.
Anderson, Clark, Dean,
Here.
Gardner,
Here.
Muncy,
Here.
Peterson.
Here.
Stanton.
Here. Mayor Anderson is gone tonight, so no mayor's comments. So we'll move on to the city manager comments.
Can I stop you?
Excuse me, Stanton. I'm sorry.
Do you want to excuse them?
Yes, please.
Oh, yes, sorry. Thank you again. Could I have a motion to excuse Mayor Anderson and Councilmember Clark?
So moved.
Do I have a second? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Okay, city manager comments.
Yes, thank you, Councilmember Stan. It's hard not to say Mayor, so, but thank you for filling in tonight and good evening, council members. So just a few highlights from my report. Maple Street's construction continues to progress well. I think we're on schedule, maybe even a little ahead of schedule, dare I say. But obviously there could, anything can come up with weather and subcontractor delays and that sort of thing, but we're in good shape. The water main installation itself is done. Now they're working on all the tie-ins at the various intersections that it connects with, and then all the actual connections to the water main itself from homes and businesses. So all that work continues. Stormwater work is underway. The larger kind of stormwater system at Mason and Maple is now installed. Sidewalks, some grading is already starting to be done. In fact, you might start to even see some of the concrete work beginning on Maple as well. So glad to see even those pieces starting to come together. And I think once all the underground work is completed, probably end of August, early September, things will really be progressing even much faster as we continue along. So things are going well there. Parking Improvements Task Force, I won't steal Councilmember Muncie's thunder there. I'll let him touch on that during his board report. Same with the Logo and Branding Committee. Real quick with lead service lines. I know we've talked before about our 203 known lead service lines, 198 galvanized, previously connected to lead lines that need to be replaced, and then we have 229 that are unknown. So obviously, there's a significant cost in replacing these lines that we need to be thinking of. Pieces of the puzzle include, grants and low interest loans. And so we've applied for some state funding that so far are right outside of the kind of the funded level. But we think in large part that's because we didn't receive some points that we were eligible for. And so we talked with Eagle about that, and we're told that we should have those points awarded to us in the next round of scoring. So we should see some updated scores, and hopefully we'll be eligible for really, it's about $1.7 million in funding that about 10% of it would be a grant. The rest of it would be via loan, but at a 0% interest. So, so a nice funding mechanism there that we could tap into, but there will be a big project behind that would be quite fast, and we would have to hit some pretty considerable timelines. So more to come on that if we end up in the funding range. The comprehensive master plan, a lot of work was done on that last month. I'll let Councilmember Gardner hit on that during his board and committee report. I think the last thing I'll touch on is just a really significant environmental grant that you were all aware of, and I'm sure our commissioner tonight might touch on that. So maybe I'll let him make that announcement as we get onto that. But essentially, the county was successful with their grant application to Eagle for $1 million grant to help clean up the 640 Water Street site. The old storage sinks there have caused some contamination, and Eagle was willing to put some more dollars to kind of do some broader cleanup at that site. And so really a great partnership with the county and the developer. And obviously we were supportive of that effort as well to really kind of clean up the legacy sites and then really bring it back for reuse and repurposing the site and bringing jobs and a nice new development there. So wanted to touch on that as well. A formal press release will be forthcoming on that. So more details to follow on that. So that's all I have.
Any questions for Ryan? Go ahead.
Ryan, I want to thank you for putting the manager's report regularly, and you've been really good about keeping it regularly on social media. It helps me when I'm keeping people updated on 92.7 The Van. But I think it's haven't seen it in a couple of years, or haven't seen it since you've been our manager, actually. The regular reports like that. And I really appreciate that, putting it out in the public and letting people know.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mhm.
I did not realize, Ryan, that we had a peddler certificate or business thing. I've never seen that before. So we've had people come to our house that have never been approved by the city. Can you give me just a brief background on what it is?
Sure. We do have a hawker peddler license process that's laid out in our code of ordinances that, yeah, folks want to do door-to-door sales or even, wanted to do some sort of sales downtown. There's a pretty significant process that they have to go through to be vetted from a criminal history perspective, but also, narrowing down on dates that they're going to be available and providing insurance and all those sorts of things. So we do have a process that's been in our code of ordinances for many, many years. Because the process is so cumbersome, I think we have a lot of folks that inquire about it, but then don't necessarily follow through with it. In fact, we're talking today that we have, I think we found that there was one group that was out today that was, lawfully following their license that they were issued and went through that process and paid the necessary fees that are in your fee schedule. But then we also had another group that were out there today, maybe that didn't follow that process.
So the lady that sometimes is right in front of City Hall that I can't remember, is she
That's
considered a
something
peddler or a
different.
busking?
So that's not necessarily hawking and peddling. That gets into busking,
Busking.
which is different, and we can't require licenses for that per the previous settlement agreement that the city had entered into with some litigation years ago.
So
Yeah.
there's a gentleman that comes through town every year with tangerines, oranges, and sells them by the case. He's done that for years, and he gets up blood. So he would really should be doing this, right?
Yeah, he really should.
And then there's also some of the young kids that come through every once in a while that are selling either candy bars or popcorn. Have you guys ever seen that? Seen
Not
those?
recently, but I know what you're talking.
They come into a lot of our businesses several times a year, so that this would apply to them, right?
It may, like I said, there are some exceptions that are written into the ordinance, things like, special events and that sort of thing. So best bet, have folks reach out to us so we can take a look. Like I said, the ordinance is a little older, it's a little clunky, and so it probably could use some refresh at some point. But yeah, they may.
That's interesting. I didn't know that either, Chris. I didn't know about that ordinance.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a lengthy process.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I hate to forget, because the clerk mentioned this to me and I forgot. So
Staring at you.
if I can defer to her for just one moment.
Yeah.
Oh, I would like to update everybody on 9 days early voting. We've had our first 3 days and we've had 47 voters.
All right.
And we're at the city of Douglas. And I would encourage everyone to come out to early voting. We've got 9 days in and out. Come please. We would love to see everybody. And we've had a good turnout so far. So
Good.
Okay, that's
it's been going
great.
great.
All right.
Congratulations.
How do you like working in their new facilities?
It's beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful? It really is nice.
It
We
is.
have our interurban meetings there. Well, we did when we were working on the building.
It's a
really-
great space. It's very big.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it's been going great. So encourage everyone to come out.
Great, Jane, thank you. Any agenda changes? Brad, do you want to be added to guest speakers? Can I have a motion to add?
I'll make a motion to add Alton County Commissioner Brad Lubbers to tonight's guest speaker agenda.
I'll second.
All those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so Brad, come on up.
Thank you. First, I'll touch on what city manager mentioned. Yeah, the county is very happy to assist in any of the brownfield categories development, whether that's housing, whether that's businesses, anything we can do for bonding, grants, any assist, through the county, we're happy to do that if that helps a local municipality and what they're trying to do, in that effort. So quick update. A lot of things have been going on since I've been here last. I've talked about this before, but consumers is desperately trying to sell all the hydroelectric dams. And their case has gone before the Public Service Commission officially. both sides have reported, given their pros and cons and this and that. They have not ruled yet, but they've tried to sweeten the deal a little bit by they're putting a $270 million fund into escrow that will be given to Confluence Hydro if the deal goes through. Deemed as the dam safety fund. So which they can use to implement infrastructure changes, permitting changes that are necessary by FERC, or, just things of that nature, just trying to, because they're really trying to get rid of these to sell them and trying to get a opinion in their favor. So to be determined what happens next. And then we had, as the clerk knows, our senior millage is on the ballot for August. That's a straight renewal. I talked about that before too, but it's a straight renewal, no changes from what it was previously. With the 5 services that are available with that. We also recently approved the Conservation District millage that will be put on the November ballot. And that is total of $795,241 a year, which is the same as it was for the previous 6 years. So, and in relativity to here, what you may have heard, what they do is they work with parks, with invasive species, which trees, which plants to put in a nature area that are not negative to the environment, removal of invasive species. They work with the Kalamazoo Greenway, Outdoor Discovery, just in partnership with all that. But they do a lot of things behind the scenes that people don't really hear about. We can honestly say, a lot of wonderful things for what they do, but it's not a very widely known cast of programs. So, those are the things you would hear. And then they also do some agricultural programs that farmers around the county can sign up for, cost shares, no-till, stuff like that. But that is on the November ballot. And then one more uncommon thing that we found out based on the storms from last April, May, if you remember the tornadoes that came through, FEMA has, or I should say, let me back up. President Trump declared 34 million to the state for disaster relief. Now, what does that mean for us? That means FEMA has, the president approves it. FEMA facilitates how that money gets distributed in the process of how that works. So FEMA set up like 8 offices, places around the state where residents and municipalities can come request for assistance. So the local one here is in Gunplain Township Fire Department, where people can come and attempt to get and fill an application, see if they're available to get any disaster relief from that storm. So it's not a very common thing, I'm told, for FEMA to do. So if anyone is able to do that, they should take advantage of it, I should say, and they'll be here for another month and a half on our behalf to do that. The next thing, August 12th, we're meeting has been set up with Representative Andrews to discuss the Blue Star Corridor. I'm sure you have, and other people, a lot of people in the area have received many safety concerns. Bikers, walkers, traffic. There's a light needs to be here. There should be a crosswalk here. There should be, I'm sure you've heard it. I'm not going to bore you. So that meeting has been set up, and that myself, Rep. Andrews, not necessarily in that order, but like road commission, sheriff, fire departments, all the people in power to reflect change for what that might mean. So another thing, background on that, the township has put in for, the road commission has put in for a safety grant to do a feasibility study for the entire corridor of what change might look like. In that study alone is over $1 million. So they're put a grant in for that to determine, engineering, what could we do? What would it look like? What would it cost? That being said, we're meeting the 12th with them, with Rep. Andrews, and see what can be changed. And that might also mean, because a lot of these things, our hands are tied, even the road commission in the township, in the county, it might mean changing some state laws to affect what we want to, or what some people would like to see happen, so that's a fruitful meeting. I hope, hopefully it is.
Brad?
Yes,
That's August 12th?
yes.
What time and where?
It is at, Blue Star Barns.
Okay, our friend Joe?
Yes, and I'm not sure if it's a public meeting, so
Okay.
I'll let you know for sure.
Okay.
I'm not 100% positive at this point,
Okay.
because I have not been told that, so.
But would we be able to have someone from our village or city go?
I
through us?
will, I'm in that efforts to see if there's, it would be fruitful to have a representative from everywhere, if that would be doable. I'll
Yeah.
certainly check, but haven't been
Give it a
told
go
if
ahead.
that's gonna be a complete public setting or not, so
No, Blue Star Barns, that is a public setting.
I know, but.
It might not
correct.
be. a
I know what you're
public meeting.
saying, but
You don't know if the meeting's going to be public yet.
Correct.
Got it.
and I don't want to speak because I didn't organize it, so I don't want to speak
Yeah.
ahead for. But it's a couple weeks away, so I can certainly.
I mean, I'm sure Russ could go in and have a cup of coffee.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and
Yes.
Yeah, and just to add to that, Joe, who owns Blue Star Barns, has met with Brad and I. We also met with Joey Andrews a couple weeks ago, and Joey's suggestion was for this meeting. So I'm glad to see this is taking place because there's a lot of concerns about safety. And I'm involved because we have a group ride that starts at Blue Star Barns, and there's been a lot of discussion regarding biker safety and pedestrian safety and so forth. So it's an outgrowth of all of that. So I understand exactly where you're coming from. This may not be a public meeting quite yet, but the thought was, Joey said, is let's have a meeting of the minds of the people that are impacting this, the stakeholders, and kind of see where this can go. So
Correct.
that's
Like-
essentially,
I just don't want to
yep, I understand.
get out of my lane. I just want,
Yep.
if that's not the way it is, I don't want to say that publicly, so. I could be wrong, but
Sounds good.
Commissioner?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm assuming, and tell me if I'm wrong, that infrastructure like traffic signals, roundabouts would be on the table at this
correct,
meeting.
absolutely, yes.
Okay, just so you know, if we don't have a representative there, this council did discuss a traffic signal. We did not have the, oh crap, excuse me, my daughter's summer camp is calling. You'll excuse me,
Yep.
but we'd be very interested in that.
Yep, no, I agree, I will pass that on. So, can find out for sure. So,
Thanks, Brad.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Last two things,
Still got-
um,
got a quorum.
we got word, so this, I don't know where everybody is at with gambling and casinos, but this is 15th year of the Gun Lake Casino officially. If you remember back in time, all the fights to get it started and everything. So they've been doing revenue sharing per the Great Lake, the compact with the local communities in the county for 15 years. And they are at a total of, just for sheer numbers, $226 odd million that they have shared with local communities and the county over 15 years. So whether you like gambling or not, and you think that's great or not, that's a whole nother discussion, but it's been a very good tool for parks that get used for the county, for infrastructure, for emergency vehicles, for police over the years, just another tool in our toolbox to get funding from. And then the last thing, just down the road here, Sunset Park is being dedicated Wednesday at 4:30, if you weren't aware of that. So if you would like to be in attendance or know somebody that would, I'm sure they would hope you could be there, so. And then one last thing is, I just want to encourage everybody to go vote. Whether it's from now until election day or on election day, just put my plug in there that if everyone should exercise their right as citizens to go vote, however you wish to vote, doesn't matter, just go vote. So that's all I have.
Any other questions for Commissioner Lubbers? Okay,
Okay.
thanks
Thanks,
for
Brad.
being here. Okay, we're on to public comment on agenda items only. Anybody in the audience wish to comment? Jamie, do you see anyone online with their hand raised?
I do not.
Okay. All right, so we're on to item 9, the consent agenda. Do I have a motion and we can discuss? Is there a motion?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Madam Councilmember Mayor.
Yes.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as proposed.
Do I have a second? Do I have a second for the consent agenda?
I'll make the second. And I apologize for my departure. My daughter is at summer camp and we had a medical emergency a few days ago.
Okay.
And I was just very concerned that we had another medical emergency. So apologies,
Scott.
council.
All right, discussion on the consent agenda.
Yes, real
We have a
quick.
second from Scott Dean.
We can't discuss.
It's no discussion.
It's no discussion.
Okay. Fine.
Unless you pull it
I
up.
think we
discuss
just-
You can just.
Wait a minute, you can't discuss the consent agenda? Yeah, you can.
No, you should be able
Okay,
to.
we have a motion and we have a second. And does anybody have any questions about the consent agenda? Go ahead.
Just, are we not allowed to? I've never heard that. Okay. Just a real quick question. The movie in the park, great event. Looking forward to it. Has the DPW Police Department and Fire Department already signed off on it?
Yes.
Okay. And then real quick, I see, the date she turned this in, or the date she signed it was, about 2.5 months ago.
Yep.
Is there a reason why we're seeing this like only 2 weeks prior or?
No.
Okay.
So
I was just curious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? This is a roll call vote.
Dean,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Muncy,
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
Stanton.
Yes. All right. Moving on to item 10, the approval of accounts payable. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the accounts payable as presented in the amount of $720,950.46.
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion?
Yeah, I have a couple questions. Item 11, City Hall interior from Fleece and Vandenbrink. I don't need an update, but it sounds like there's some progress being made on work being done downstairs. So just at some point, be curious about getting an update on that. Also too, there's a line item for item 20 for credit card processing Oval Beach Gate fees for 4,000 and some change. Is that the fee that we get charged for processing credit cards?
Correct.
Okay.
Wow.
So that's for 1 month. And that caught my attention just because of that topic, because if you go any place these days, most places will tack on 4%, 3.5%, some percentage onto your receipt for that processing fee. I'm not suggesting this evening that we talk about adding a fee to our gates, but this is something that probably needs to be discussed at some point. I mean, this is just a lot of pass-throughs are coming through a lot of businesses now for that particular fee. So there's something to put out there.
That's a lot of money for 1 month.
It's a lot of credit card fees,
Right.
a lot of credit card transactions.
Right. Sure. But still.
Yeah, yeah. So just that caught my attention. Also too, $477,688 of this are tax pass-throughs, which are monies that our staff collect, our treasurer collects, and then moves off to another taxing authority.
All right. Anything else? And it's a roll call vote.
Dean,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Muncy.
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
Stanton.
Yes. And we have no unfinished business, so we are on to new business, item 12A, the proposal for the design engineering services for Elizabeth Street improvements. This is on page 24 in your packet. Do you want to set that up at all? I know we discussed it at the
Yeah, it's
workshop.
cool. If it's all right, Madam Chair, we'll turn it over to the DPW Director.
Okay.
Oh, I know some of you weren't here for the workshop. So we did discuss this in the workshop. Basically, this is for the design to allow Fleece and Vandenbrink to go forward with the design proposal for Elizabeth Street. This will be water main replacement, hydrants, valves, repaving the road. We're accomplished quite a few lead service replacements at that time. I don't know that number off the top of my head to give you the exact information. You know, some spot curb, gutter. One of the big things is the sidewalk, trying to get sidewalk down that road completely. There'll probably be like a mid-walk crossover at Francis Street, hopefully from Allen Street to in front of the Bayview condos. We're looking to get some permissions there to be able to put the sidewalk there, and then later on it'll cross over. So that road's in desperate need of some repairs if you haven't been down it lately, but we're doing our best as a DPW to maintain it until then, so.
Okay. All right. Do we have a motion?
Yes, I move we approve the design engineering services for Elizabeth Street improvements from Fleece and Vanderbrink in the amount of $122,700.
A second.
Okay. Any other discussion or questions?
Just more of a note for Mark as well as for the city manager. I don't think the engineers are on the call, but I mentioned this during the discussion. So as the part of the planning phase, I'd like to see the city and the engineers begin talking about this stretch of Elizabeth Street between Francis and Allegan is a speedway, especially during the school season. A lot of issues from local residents, a lot of questions, a lot of concerns from parents, school officials, et cetera. Now's the time for us to address that. And it's not just speed enforcement. I'd like to see us have some speed tables integrated into the design. There's different things that you can do to calm the speeds as traffic comes down the road. Speed tables are pretty common near schools, near parks. You'll see them in many cities and communities that can be permanent in the asphalt itself, or they can be added after the fact and removed during the wintertime for plows, et cetera. Definitely would like to see that be part of the plan as they begin to put this together, as well as complete streets concept, which will come up in the discussion regarding the master plan under the planning commission. Complete streets is a concept that as we begin to work on various streets in the community, that we make it available to multi-mode transportation. In this particular case for the schools with the sidewalk, that would be a great addition to that stretch between Allegan and Mason. But we should also be talking about putting bike lanes in there for kids to be able to access the school safely on bikes. That's something that we should just continue to encourage. And the speed tables, I think, will make this a faster, or not faster, will make it a safer and more visibly attractive street for everybody to use. So just put that out there for further discussion as this gets going. So.
Any other comments?
Just, I appreciate you guys working with Bayview, you know, over their concerns and over the concerns of our citizens to keep our trees. You know, we are a tree hugging society here. And I know not everybody's going to be happy. We are going to have to take out some trees, but I think a sidewalk is very valuable, especially down the street where the school is. So.
All right.
And one last question. I did know that this is going to go to the Parks and Public Works Committee. I'm just interested in what's their feedback on this. This is a city council directed project. So what, are we looking for feedback from them on some aspect of this project? What's the?
Yeah, I mean, your ordinance related to the Parks and Public Works Committee essentially gives them the ability to, you know, provide feedback and recommendations on any projects that really relate to Parks and Public Works. So, I mean, obviously they can't, nothing binding from the Parks and Public Works Committee, but certainly they'll look at these plans too, and maybe they'll have similar comments, you know, such as you as related to, you know, complete streets or other things that they might see that we should consider as we're going throughout the process.
But they don't have the ability to change anything. Anything they recommend has to come back to us.
It's just recommendations.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. It's a roll call vote.
Dean,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Muncy.
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
Stanton.
Yes. All right, moving on to item 12B, the Historic District Signage Design and Quotes. It's page 29 in your packet.
Mayor,
Yes,
I would like
I'm
to.
not the mayor, but.
Oh, I'm sorry. Council Member Stanton.
Yes.
I would like to motion to approve the design engineering, I'm sorry. Let me go down, let me scroll down just a bit. I make a motion to approve the design submitted by Concept A Creative Studio and the quote from Lakeshore Industries for the fabrication of 3 single-face cast aluminum signs with raised lettering and borders, each measuring 24 inches by 36 inches and mounted on 8-foot posts in the total amount of $7,048.80.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to thank them for going back and looking at the quotes, and what an eye opener. I mean, it's always good to have 2 or 3 different quotes to present to us at council, so that's easier for us to decide, you know, where the money's going in that. But what an eye opener to see what the comparison was with the other quotes. And I think the original suggestion was the best suggestion.
Thank you. I'm probably my question actually will go to Scott. Did you do any public focus groups or anything with the design before it came out?
When I joined the Historic District Commission, they were already kind of well into it. Grayson's not here, so I don't recall if they did any public meetings prior. Well, Russ, you were on it before me, so.
Yeah.
Saw a number of designs that came before us.
Right, but there were no public focus groups, right? I'm just asking that because of the branding issue too, if that's going to go out before people have seen it.
The only bit that where branding and the branding effort came into play was Chairman Straker was very, I think, of the opinion in a very strong way that it not be influencing or influenced by the branding discussion. So,
Yeah.
but that's my understanding of it, but it sounds like.
Yeah,
And
I
Ryan,
picked
had
that up
asked
too.
you about that
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Thanks.
Any other discussion?
The only comment I would add is that I was a little bit surprised when we first saw the quotes for the signs. I was like, oh my gosh, really that much? And so anyway, I've been able to reconcile this. $7,048.80 is not a lot of money to spend on signs, which are probably going to last us for 35 to 40 years. The signs that we currently have in place were put in when the district was originally put in place in 1982. So if you amortize that over the years, they're definitely an investment, so.
Yeah, just to build on that, the only thing I would suggest is if we have to spend a few more dollars to mount them with theft-proof fasteners,
Oh.
that's probably a wise idea because they are actually quite attractive and very kind of nice. So that might be worthwhile to make sure that they are very secure.
They are nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, they are.
I think they're going to be quite striking.
Yeah.
So, and we're going to get all of the materials for the signs, but it's going to be up to the DPW to install them.
Correct.
Okay. All right. It's a roll call vote.
Dean,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Muncy.
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
Stan.
Yes. All right. Moving on to item 12C, consent agreement for sanitary sewer service. It's on page 36 of your packet. Do I have a motion or would you like to set this up, Ryan?
I'm happy to set it up. We talked a little bit about this on Wednesday. This was kind of a late addition. We have a parcel in the township that's north of Allegan Street that is proposing a boutique hotel as their intended plan for the property. There isn't sanitary sewer service that runs along Blue Star, but there is under Maple Street. Under our current sewer operations contract, there's a provision that essentially indicates that if a property isn't, immediately adjacent to Maple Street, that the township and the city would need to enter into a consent agreement to allow for that connection. In this case, we did something very similar for the fire department here a couple of weeks ago. Some differences here are that the sewer flows from the property would actually be counted towards the Saugatuck Township's allocated sewer treatment capacity. They had another property that was going to use some of their allocated capacity. That project kind of fell through, which opened up some capacity for them as they have some limitations at this point in time. The connection fees wouldn't be waived in this case, so they would still pay those to the city. They still have some work to do to probably get necessary easements across the property to the west as well. But otherwise, I've checked with our engineers. The infrastructure along Maple Street has the ability to handle the additional flow, so no concerns from an infrastructure perspective, and staff's comfortable recommending approval.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Yeah. Well.
It's on page 37.
Yeah, I've got it here.
Yeah.
Motion to approve the consent agreement for sanitary sewer service between the city of Saugatuck and Saugatuck Township. Provide sanitary sewer service to parcel 20-010-029-10 via the Maple Street sewer main.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, I still struggle where this is at. You said it's to the north of Allegan?
It's right across the street from Saugatuck Collision and Auto Service. And it would be one, do you know where the Ivy, that's the Ivy?
Ivy, yeah.
If you look at that and you look directly to the north of that,
Mhm.
it's the property right across the street.
Okay, on the,
It would be on the west side of Blue Star.
gotcha, okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
I'm not sure there's anything on the property at the moment, but yeah, the only comment I would make is, and again, it's outside of our purview, but there's a lot going on in Blue Star Highway. I
Mhm.
mean, this is going to be, yeah, there's a lot going on. I have no memory of Blue Star getting this attention in years past. So it's exciting stuff. We'll see where this is all going to go. And I'm going to make my comment again. The city needs to be, and the planning commission is starting to talk about it. We need to be ready for the influx of people, all of these new event centers and possibly a boutique hotel and other businesses on Blue Star are going to bring to our town. So it's something we definitely need to be thinking about.
Agree. And before I was interrupted, yeah, I just think this opportunity that the commissioner outlined for us, we should find a way to be part of that conversation, particularly given what we were talking about regarding the street signal. And then there's also the concerns around Blue Star and North Street as well. So there's a lot of things that I think the city has, we've got a dog in this fight, if you will, sir. So I wish we could be a big part of this.
Right.
All right. Any further discussion? All right, it's a roll call vote.
Dean,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Muncy.
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
Sweden.
Yes. All right, motion carries. And moving on to staff reports, boards, commissions, and committees. The city manager report, do you want to add anything more? Okay, so we'll move on to the Fire District Administration Board.
Probably thought you saw the last of me. I'm here because John Meyer couldn't be here, so he asked if I could stand in, and I guess he ran that by the mayor, and that was okay. So here I am. Excuse me. Getting over a 3-day cold. I picked this visual for the first slide, partly because I thought it was kind of a cool photo from the drone, from the fire district drone, I believe, of the area at the end of Butler Street that was used as the incident command site for fireworks night. You see the, kind of right to left, you see the ambulance, fire truck, and then the two kind of direct response trucks, including the chief's truck. I know Ryan's seen it. I don't know if you all have, and I certainly wouldn't bring it here, but the development of the plan for each of those big events, 4th of July, Venetian just passed and whatever, is like, if I'm not mistaken, I think a 58-page document. It's long and it is unbelievably comprehensive. It's a confidential document because certain resources are in certain places where you don't want to advertise where that's going to be ahead of time, what have you. But it's, I mean, I didn't read the full 50, whatever it was, 58 pages. I did go through it and stopping on this topic or that topic. The level of security involved in that from Allegan County Sheriff, from the fire district, from Life Ambulance or whatever is really impressive for a community this size, I think. So anyway, this is the update for the fire board's meeting earlier in the week. Next one, please. Here are the highlights from that meeting. As you can see, for almost John Mayer was sworn in by Chief Janik. That's John Mayer on the left. For those of you who don't know him or haven't met him, Chief's on the right. We reviewed the list of property inspections and reviews for that month. Give you a feeling for the amount of work involved in that. 45 short-term rental inspections in just the month. 40 hours of plans reviews. The plans reviews are pre-construction or during construction reviews of commercial properties expanding or developing, whatever. And they're very detailed and they're code specific and it's involved. We have an officer who does nothing but, well, mostly nothing but that, although he's had to pick up some short-term inspections. Driveway inspections, I don't know if you know this, but when you build your driveway has to be capable of supporting the weight of the largest of the fire engines, which is the ladder truck, without breaking through the concrete or sinking into soft asphalt or what have you. So those inspections basically involve taking that truck on somebody's driveway and doing it. There's times when that becomes contentious, as you might expect. And in some cases, we've made adjustments. Those adjustments basically involve the individual accepting all responsibility for anything that's a consequence of a driveway that's insufficient. Meaning, if you pull a truck in there and it goes on its side and one side sinks in, and that ladder truck is about a $2 million proposition. You really don't want that on your liability, but it's on some people around here. Food truck inspections, which are required, and then the 110 inspection. We reviewed June incidents, which I'll get to in the next couple of slides. We reviewed progress on the 415 Wiley project, which continues apace, and I'll cover that a little bit more. And we reviewed the sewer connection by approvals from waivers from Saugatuck and from the township, for which the fire district is extremely grateful, appreciates a great deal. Hence the nicely written. Thank you. That's as close as the fire district gets to a thank you note, I guess. Next one, please, Jamie. So for June, call volume and trend, 116 calls. That's up sharply, which you expect for the season in May. Year-to-date, 477 calls, down 6.6%, but again, accelerating. 52 emergent calls, lights and siren calls, which is a similar number to a year ago. Average response time dropped, whatever that is, 15, 16 seconds from a year ago. It, as you know, it moves around. It's very highly dependent on where the serendipity of the calls, where they come from, where they come in from, how far out in the township and so forth. Incident trends, we have 47 or 37% overlapping calls. I think we had a situation this morning where the fire district had 3 overlapping calls, which and we're short people, and it puts incredible strain. There are, in our opinion, there are mandatory requirements for staffing that when you get 3 overlapping and you've got guys going out and manning vehicles and what have you, 3 places at one time, very challenging, very challenging. 67 EMS calls, 58%. We'll get into that a bit more. The calls by jurisdiction, the township, 48% of the calls. Douglas, 31%, Saugatuck, 22%, and there were 28 calls outside the district. Next one, Jay. So these are the 2026 year-to-date, so through June. 477 total, don't all show up here, but medical, the majority, false alarms are no emergency. False alarms continue to be an issue. We had a couple of those today. They're not really, not false alarms in the sense of somebody getting on the phone and playing a prank. It's so many of these automated systems kick off alarms, and somebody's got to go figure out whether that's really smoke or just a faulty whatever. And we will and have, you'll see it on a little later, billed when that becomes excessive. $257, I think they billed in one case. Public service, no emergency fire, an actual fire 15, hazardous situation of one kind or another 18. The EMS calls, we've looked at this before, total number of patients, 293, meaning there are medical calls where there's no patient involved directly, where somebody sees something or whatever. 44 falls, 42 sick people, people with breathing problems, unconscious, fainting, and then traffic-related EMS calls. Next one, Jake. This is what I was referencing earlier, although the numbers are relatively, at least the numbers on the chart are small. But we reviewed in our meeting again and keep close watch on the effects of cost recovery, which so far this year is exceptionally good. 74% collection rate, and there's obviously still things outstanding and could come in, you don't know. But over this, what are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the bottom, there's a false alarm on Butler Street. I don't know who I couldn't say if I did. But that was a bill for $252 for sending a truck and 3 guys or whatever, for whatever. So anyway, $47,000 so far this year back to the district from cost recovery.
That's much better, Dan, that you've reported in previous years.
Well, and it does.
Because you've always talked about the challenge of getting that money, and you're getting this right now. You're getting almost 75%. That's great.
They're paying close, not just paying close attention to it, but they're pushing back. Insurance companies can be the most obnoxious because they're, generally speaking, if it relates, and some of the big ones on here did, the truck fire or whatever, related to accidents on 196. Truck driver doesn't come from around here. Truck 9 times out of 10 doesn't come from around here. Insurance companies in Florida, they'll fight every step of the way. And if you've looked at watch trucks, the quality of the trucking assets in this country has dramatically fallen off over the years. And without meaning to be making a cultural shot, the chief reminds me all the time how many times the truck driver can't speak English, which to get somebody who's injured or whatever, that's not all that helpful. Next one, please, Jamie. Thank you, though. On Wiley Road, we had I was not party to this, nor did I want to be, Standard and Poor's rating, bond rating, live Zoom interview, included the township, which of course is the jurisdiction receiving the funds from the bonds. The outcome include the township fire district, also our bonding attorneys, Budzinski and Company. The outcome was that we received a AA rating on the bonds, which is 1A short of the best you could do. And Peter, formerly treasurer here, Peter Stanislavski, was thrilled. He said he didn't figure, he said, I thought we'd be in the Bs. So a lot of that rating relates to the quality and reliability of the tax income, in this case to the township. So they look at delinquencies, they look at owner occupied structures, they looked at businesses. You know, Peter said, for example, if you've got a town with one big business in it, paying a chunk of property taxes, it actually doesn't help because the bonding guys are looking at risk. The business leaves, the town's financial future just took a hit. So there's an interesting process, and the questions are detailed and the answers were forthcoming largely from Peter on our side of things, because he's now obviously treasurer for the county or for the township.
Treasurer.
So that's good. The funds, actually the fund availability, if it holds to schedule, they should be available by the 27th of August. And those funds go directly to the township and they're held in trust in the township. And then as costs for the construction and modifications for the new station come in, there'll be pulls off of that money till we run out, I guess. And I think I told you last time, the same timetable that has the 27th of August for receipt of those funds has full completion of the project on the 27th of April, which is beyond our wildest and most optimistic hopes. So the design of the building you see here, the redesign of the building, which is being reviewed and discussed, and I think very favorably, was developed by one of the firefighters on his own.
Is he an engineer on this side?
He has strong architectural experience.
Or architect?
I don't want to, I would use his name, but I haven't been clear to say who it was, but I don't have the thing to look side by side at the two of them, but this is night and day difference. Everyone who's seen it and looked at the other one said, no question. So figuring that out. And the purchase agreement legal review by Douglas is complete. The fire district's lawyers have their last, nitpicking T's to cross, I's to dot, and that'll be done. That's for the purchase, both of the property on which the garage will sit, or the apparatus space will sit, as well as the portion of the building you see there on the left where the offices will be. Next one, Jamie, please. I just put this in here because I think it's kind of it's a nifty deal, and it was really nice. Chief Janik himself carried water on this with the family. Dave Haverdink was fire chief in Hamilton, killed on a response, killed on the highway on M40 over near Hamilton. And Greg was interested in seeing if we get a couple of signs, talking about signs, get signs up there, Memorial Highway, whatever. Well, like everything else with government, particularly with the state, it's not an easy process. It literally takes a numbered act from the House of Representatives to get this approved and what have you. So that is well on its way to happening. And as I say, he started out with the family to make sure they felt comfortable with that and wanted that, whatever. So kind of a nice deal. Next one. And that's it. This was
Mhm.
July 6th on the southbound ramp from Blue Star Highway to the interstate. Do I know what caused that?
No, but
When?
I could tell you.
that wasn't my question, but go ahead.
Okay, well, I'll wait for your question, but it apparently, when they opened the back, the trailer was loaded. And the load was all on the side that you see on the ground.
Oh,
You've all been down that entrance ramp, you make a turn
Uh-huh.
and that weight begins to
Ooh.
shift. Racing, they call that lateral acceleration. That's what he experienced, the lateral acceleration of his load.
Ouch.
So
Yeah.
Question is back to the work that's being done at 415 Wiley, which is just fantastic how quickly that's moving from a bonding as well as design standpoint. So just maybe everybody else has it straight. Is the Township Fire District going to move all of its assets down to that location?
I'm sorry, is the township?
Is the fire district going to move all of its assets down to that location? It's going to be a split, right?
No, we'll operate both.
Yeah, okay,
Both of them. There'll be fewer staff in each one.
right.
I think I forget who else, maybe Holly asked me or whatever. And they'll operate together so that if there's a fire, from south end of the bridge on, that doesn't mean only the south station will respond. These guys will respond, but if it, again, getting across that bridge in traffic and up the
Mhm.
beautifully revised Blue Star Highway in
Mhm.
Douglas with narrow lanes and sidewalks, not a good thing. So, but yes, they'll both operate, and they're depending on how many our funding works, our expenses work for construction. There are funds, and were contemplated to be funds in the bond, from the bond, that will allow certain improvements in
The current barn.
42, whatever it is, to include sleeping rooms there, which are just an embarrassment as it is. I mean, it's horrible. And some other facilities as well within that building. Nothing horribly expensive, no great moving of walls or what have you. But hopefully we can upgrade that as well. Again, we'll see some, an estimate's an estimate, so.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
All right,
Yeah.
anyone else? Okay, thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
All right,
Thanks, Dan.
moving on to the Interurban Board. Gregory?
We continue to have a fantastic summer. June was another record-breaking month with the 10,757 passenger trips. That's 833 more riders than last June, than a year ago, representing a 7.75% increase. It's exciting to see more people choosing the interurban to get where they need to go. Every month I keep reporting record-breaking numbers. Our free Senior Mondays, which we have now, program continues to be a big success. In the month of June, we provided 172 free rides to area seniors in June. We also provided 120 destination trips. Destination trips they're $5 and they're trips going to the wineries or we also offer trips going to Felt Mansion, our state, as well as our state park. And so that created a little bit of more revenue, which was helping us out. Our Commission on Aging partnership, where we're working with Allegan County to give people rides to Holland and to even as far as Grand Rapids for their doctor's appointments through the month of June. We provided 65 rides for our local folks that need to get to doctors outside of the area or whatever. Summer services are in full swing as well. The free parking shuttle is running every Wednesday for music in the park and on weekends from 1 to 9 p.m. If the shuttle isn't operating, of course, folks can call us at Interurban at 269-857-1418, and they'll pick you up where you're at and take you where you want to go. That's our park. It's anywhere you park. It's our park and call service. We also love seeing our regular group of kids riding from the Boys and Girls Club. You know, our Boys and Girls Club is quite the popular group in this town. There's a lot of members to that, and it's a great reminder to how important that public transportation is for our community. To keep up with our busy summer demand, we've scheduled 9 buses and 2 dispatchers on Fridays and Saturdays. One dispatcher is always ready to jump behind the wheel if we need a 10th bus out there for any reason. And so our recently adjusted late night fare from 7 to 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday nights is $3. So that increased our revenue a little bit as well. We're just trying to make little increases as we've gotten decreased funding from the state and federal. There are several exciting developments happening behind the scenes as well. We're currently working with three new advertisers. I don't know if you've noticed our buses right now, but you have the opportunity to put an ad on it. And we're trying to make money any way we can. In fact, I know us at Back to the Fuchsia, I know we're working on an ad for that right now as well. We also recently signed 3 new service contracts with the Fenville Elementary Daycare, the Fenville Migrant Program, and Lakeside Learning, expanding transportation for even more members of our community. Again, reminding how important public transportation is. The Friends of the Interurban, our group that we have, they've been busy installing signs in support of our ballot proposal. I say upcoming August 4th, but we can all vote right now, and we encourage you to vote yes. We've been operating at a 0.5 millage for 40 years. And when Interurban first started, it was a 1 mil millage, but we didn't need that money. We understood we didn't, so we went on for 40 years at a 0.5. So we're finally asking to go back to a 1 point, and we think it's worth it. And I think we can prove that with the growth that we've had and with more people using the service. Finally. We've hired 5 seasonal drivers, all of whom we hope will return next summer, bringing our total staff to 24 employees. That's more employees than we've ever had before. And also, just to let you know, our next meeting is going to be held on Thursday, August 20th. It's usually on a Tuesday, but we are moving it to Thursday, August 20th to accommodate Becky for the transit conference that she'll be attending. So,
Any questions for Gregory?
Excellent report. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay. Moving on to Kalamazoo Lake Sewer and Water Authority. Hi, Barry. Good
Hey,
to see
Barry.
you too.
Thanks.
I told Joe to take the day off, so. So we had a meeting on Monday, July 20th, and we went through, we had bills in the amount of $255,154.11. We had let's see. We have a new fiscal director. I'll get to his name down here. This is 195 pages, so there's the mayor has a snooze button, and all the mayors know that. Yeah, but if you start snoozing on, she'll wake you up. So let's see. Andrew, I'll find his name. I've only met him once. So we had a heavy agenda with the Clean Water State Revolving Fund because we're doing a expansion project out at the Sewer and Water Authority plant. And our lawyer was there, and Fleeson Vandenbrink, our partners in engineering, were there to have those discussions. So let's see. The township showed up, Tyler Denoyer from Prine and Newhoff and Daniel DeFranco, the Saugatuck Township supervisor, manager. They gave us some updates on some final design and route of they're going to run a new force main from Blue Star Highway down to the plant. I don't know if that's for that new hotel, which I was not aware of that hotel, or is it for that apartment complex they're doing? I think it's the apartment thing they're doing on the roundabout there, which is on the other side of Blue Star Highway. But we're kind of going back and forth on that a little bit, how that's all going to get configured. So that'll go through a board of review, and the date for the next meeting of your Andy Campbell Authority Water Advisory Committee, and you know more about that than I do. I've sat in on the agreement, the new agreement, one time, and I know Russ is more familiar with that than I am, because although Cal Lake is a party to the final vote, we don't really have a seat at the table. So, you know, so he can give you that. So we got into some heavy voting, and we approved a contract with HydroCorp, which is a people that do check out cross connections, and that's required by law, and that's where any of our potable water may come in contact with you know, something out of a sprinkler, any groundwater or anything like that. And that's been hard to enforce that. And we pro $14,000 for that because it is required by the state. So there'd be a lot of cross-checking, cross-connection checking going on. We had our operations report where we did our monthly testing for, well, yearly for nitrates and PFAS. And, you know, PFAS is in the news, either non-detectable or below the detectable limit. So we're good there on parts per billion. So we don't have PFAS here. Volatile organic compounds at each well site. And this, you know, all this has to do with your drinking water, you know, so, so the volatile organic compounds, non-detectable or at the bottom of detectable. Annual tests on disinfection byproducts at the farthest point of our water distribution system. And these are things that we use to clean up the water before it gets discharged at the plant. And no adverse reactions of our disinfection process that would form harmful chemicals or cause health hazards of our drinking water. Tying in with your thing on Maple Street, you know, we're involved in that, of course. So the main installation has been completed from Blue Star Highway to just south of North Street. Homes are currently in the process of being tapped into the new main. Phase 1 at Blue Star Highway to Allegan Street has been completed. Phase 2 from Allegan Street to the wells 4 and 5 has begun. Final phase has passed pressure and bacteria testing for tie-ins at wells 4 and 5. And Blue Star Highway before the old main is then abandoned. So we have annual lead and copper sampling has begun for this year with roughly 75%. Current results have been extremely favorable, and we should be able to wrap that up by the end of the month. So, of course, you know, lead and copper's, you know, always in the news. So we also test our high flow discharge, which is, you know, discharged back into the Kalamazoo River. It's performed as a standard. And of course, this is our peak season for discharge. And we also test for quarterly mercury testing has been performed. And again, favorable, maintaining our compliance standard on that. So let's see, then we get into all this brouhaha. I'm just going to try to get through all these motions that went on. So the HydroCorp, I mentioned that. That's for the, so that anything, you know, that's connected to the water system does get back into it and kind of pollute our water. So that's going to be paid for. And there's really only one company that does that in the state. So very technical. We did a capitalization policy with our new financial guy. And, you know, your financial people can probably, you know, this was, you know, news to me, but the buildings we capitalized 10 to 40 years, the lift stations 40 years, the mains and the connections 5 to 10 years, and we certainly have some that are 100. Office equipment and furnishings, 3 to 10 years. So, and then we're doing up really some cleanup. What if people will not let you in? If we got to get in to see their meter. And so we've got a policy, we did a resolution to have a denied access policy. And, the authority periodically needs access to each customer's water meter to obtain accurate readings. And so, if people won't let us in, first of all, we give them a call to tell them we need access to their meter. If we haven't heard back from them in 30 days, we put a door tag on. If we haven't heard back from them in another 30 days, a third notice is another door tag. And then 180 days, it's grounds for discontinuance of service or, shutting them down. So that got passed. Then if we have to get in, then we have to have a discontinuance. This is a denied policy to get in to fix it. And if they won't let us in the door there, same process, meter access. And then we did let's see, this one is a past due bill policy. And in that one, if they're 10 days past due, you get a postcard. 40 days past due, postcard again. 60 days door tag, granting them another 2 weeks. 74 days, disconnection. 180 days, the balance goes on their tax bill. So that got passed.
Barry,
Yes.
what's the rate for late? So you say 60 days. At what point do you start charging a late fee?
We don't really have a late fee.
Okay, that's what I wondered, because you talked about giving them that long.
Right.
I'm thinking, at 30 days or 60-day point, are you tacking on any late fees or?
No.
No, okay.
No, so denied access, past due policy, paperless billing saves us a lot of money. And so we're moving towards a paperless billing system. Well, we have it, but let's see, HydroCorp operations. Oh, here we go. Go paperless billing, save $3 on every bill. So if we don't have to deal with the lockbox and messing around with all that, if they go paperless and then have an automatic draw from an account, a bank account, $3 off your bill. So we did that one. That's going to save us really a considerable amount of money. So Andrew Smith is the new finance director. So, and then we're getting into this big clean water state revolving fund, $4.1 million bond. And we're ramping up to that. That was approved by the state. Now we're getting all the agreements signed. And so, there were several resolutions approving, all the people involved in that, ramp up. And so, Ben Dazinski, I think he works with you on that committee. Yep. He's our financial analysis guy out there for that too. Our attorney was in there. Yep, revolving funds. And so that's coming up. And what we're going to do there basically is when you treat your sewage out there, it's kind of like a big septic tank and it just keeps moving things along. But then there are these ponds where everything settles out. And we call those the sludge ponds. And it's getting more and more expensive to clean up those sludge ponds. And it may be $1 million just to currently clean up the one that's ready to do it and then relining it and everything like that. But as the authorities get more restrictions on that and you're testing for more things, we anticipate in the next 5 to 10 years, that could be a $10 million deal. And, you know, when it's really good sludge, the farmers used to put it on the fields.
Mhm.
That's good fertilizer. And we've always had good sludge. But, you know, we don't in the future. So,
Your motto.
So we got good crap here.
good crap. And you know what? All this wonderful food we eat down. there. So, and I just wanted to mention, we have a, you know, a kind of a, you know, a new cast of characters, you know, we've had Joe Clark, you know, our other guy is really grabbed a hold of it and is really doing a good job. And, you know, he was a chairman for a little while and he grabbed a hold of it. And then we, in the process, when Joe was there, we transitioned from the former manager to the current guy who we poached from Hudsonville. And he's turned out really well. And
Mhm.
so Joe was through that whole process. Then when we organized, which we do every year, kind of like you guys do, Gregory Freeman, a representative from Douglas, was elected chairman. And he's just been on the board for a couple of years, but he's done a great job. Jennifer Ludwig, also a Douglas rep, is new, fairly new. And she had a lot of experience as a financial person at Cal Lake before she went on to another industry. So now she came back and is on the board, and instead of making a living wage, she gets $50 a meeting. You know, she's on the board and not getting paid for all that work. So, and then John Helmrich, we've been through a lot of people in and out from the township. And at this time, depending on how your agreement works out, but at this time, there's only one representative from the township, and that's been a revolving door. And the current member is John Helmrich, which is a very capable person. But it's hard for them to keep somebody on there this is a very hard, you know, board to learn what's going on, you know, how sewer and water plants work. So, oh,
Great.
nobody got buzzed? Okay.
Any questions for Barry?
Thank you, Barry.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Gary.
Barry. We appreciate
Thanks for
it.
having me. Good to see y'all.
You too. On to the Harbor Authority, Chris.
Yes, Ryan had sent out the report that the Better Consulting Group did. If you remember, we approved phase one to go forward with the understanding that in order to push the harbor, we need to know what the economic impact was. And the kind of boiled down to the question is, how would it impact the different sectors if dredging stopped? And so that whole report goes through all of those things, second homes, you know, those kinds of issues. We had a great discussion on what should the role be of the Harbor Authority, looking at the ability that we have to levy taxes, but no permission to do that. Are we simply a board that then just pushes stuff onto the city councils and gives them just advice? So that was another issue that he wanted to find out. How do we establish ourselves? What kind of an entity do our communities see us being? And then the last one was the funding, how to get the funding, which is always going to be a challenge. He gave us a 10-year roadmap on how to get funding done, first 3 years. It was on one of the pages of that. The first 3 years are establishing governance, building the capacity and secure funding. Next 4 to 7 years, expand the environmental, recreation, and resilient work. And then 8 to 10 years, innovate, modernize, and secure long-term stability. So what I'd like to do is see if we could have a workshop set up so that we can kind of go through that and see if the city council is in agreement to go forward. The second phase, I kind of thought the first phase, the economic impact would have numbers, dollars and everything. It didn't. It was just kind of a summary of how all the different sectors would be affected, but not financially how much. That would be the second phase. And so we need permission from the city council to go forward with that. And it's, as Barry said, this is complicated too. If we're looking at how to do the harbor, it's extremely complicated. The discussion was, well, how much authority could they do if they were like a conservation district or something like that? Well, then you go right back to, well, do the councils and township want to give up that authority? Do we want an independent group determining, how the no wake zones and everything, the docks and everything, we want to keep it within each community's power. So I think it's time for discussion about where we want to go and how we want to go there.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
This is a great report. I spent quite a bit of time reading it this afternoon. What I thought was interesting was the population, the estimate for 2026. We know our 2020 census said that we had, I believe it was 868 or something like that. So you show it at about 909 as your estimate. And do you know what the ESRI-BIS that stands for? They're the ones that forecasted these numbers. The reason why I'm asking is because it seems to me, was it the Planning Commission where I heard there was a drop? That was, and it was 700 and something. And so, I mean, I'm seeing such a difference in what the Planning Commission said as they're working on their big project versus this. That's quite a change in numbers.
I don't think that even came up, Brian, in the conversation. I think there was so much other information.
Yeah, there
We
is.
didn't see it.
But I was just
I don't know
wondering.
who Marissa is. I should know.
Not that it's really important, just a curiosity, what ESRI and BIS, what organization is that?
Mhm.
You're not
To
too
get back
sure?
to you.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, I can check with Better versus, Grayson to kind of see what data sources they're using and.
I'm just curious why it's like almost a 200 difference
Yeah.
between what
That's a big.
was forecasted for 2026 with these guys versus you. Yeah.
We'll find out.
Okay. All right, moving on to the ZBA. Any update from ZBA?
They did not meet last month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Historic districts, Scott.
Next meeting, if we have quorum, will be August 6th at 6 PM.
Okay. Planning Commission.
Yeah, thank you. We met on, let's see. I know, anyway. We met on July 16th, Thursday, July 16th. The number that is being referred to is on page 46 of the Planning Commission packet from the 16th. And again, it kind of brought us by surprise too, is that the three communities, City of Sagatuck, Douglas City of Village, and Sagatuck Township, what's being referenced is that the 2024 5-year estimate for the City of Sagatuck is 766 from a census of 899 in 2020. So I don't know where that other number came from, but this is the number that we were shown. It's a 20% reduction in our population estimated based on community trends, et cetera, whereas the Village of Douglas has a 36% increase as projected, and the township has a 89% increase. And we had some questions around this table, so I think there's some more discussion on this, but that's where that number is coming from.
Okay, thank you.
So I would encourage you to read the Planning Commission packet from the 16th. There's a lot going on with master plan updates and development. I won't go into the gory details here, but I will emphasize that. Let me get back up to the first page here. The Planning Commission has gone through its own internal survey, I guess, for lack of a better term, in terms of what we thought that the community priorities would be from a planning standpoint, from a master plan standpoint. And the three things that the Planning Commission members identified as the highest ranking priorities are: number one is infrastructure capacity, water, sewer, and more importantly, roads. And that's the issue that I've keep bringing up, is that we are going to have to be planning to be ready for the increased capacities that are going to be coming, or not increased capacities, but the increased stress we're going to feel in the community from visitors, people moving to the community, et cetera. It's going to be incumbent on us to be ready for that. And the Planning Commission members that participate, we all participated in this, made that the first priority. Second priority is preservation of historic character. That's why a lot of people come to town, is because they like the appearance of our community, the historic district. Most folks don't want to have it in a historic district. They'll know better when we have the new signs, but just the geographic layout of the community and so forth is important from a planning standpoint, as well as downtown economic vitality. The tourists that come to our town 12 months a year are our economic engine. And so the businesses that support that, the restaurants, bars, stores, et cetera, the Planning Commission is, from a master plan standpoint, that's one of the priorities, is to make sure that we have an economic vitality in the downtown particularly. So those are going to be some of the guiding principles that we're going to be using. as we plan on this. And there's a lot of detail behind all of this in the plan. I would encourage you to read it. This will be coming back as a report to the city council here at, I think probably sometime in the fall. But we actually had an entire 2.5 hour meeting just diving into this. So it's really interesting information, a lot of discussion, and I won't bother to go into the details on it, but would encourage you to read it. A lot of information to absorb. So
Go ahead, Chris.
Yes, one of the things that Mr. Vetter kept talking about was we have a one-legged economy and we need to support that economy. And that all ties in so much with the economic mentality. Is there any focus on dredging along with the
there
plan?
has not been discussion about dredging.
Probably should some way connect the two. Because as he said, once that harbor goes, if we don't have a recreational harbor anymore, that's going to affect our tourism. Because a lot of, well, you just see the people walking the board, walking everything like that. We also asked him to look in to see if there was any funding for dredging for a recreational harbor, and there isn't. There just isn't. So.
Good question. Thank
Yep.
you. Our next meeting is on Thursday, August 20th.
Okay. Parks and Public Works Committee, we meet tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. unless there's anything you wanted to update. Okay. Tri-Community Non-Motorized Trail Study Committee.
Work continues at a slower pace than we'd like, but we're still in good shape.
Okay. All right. Well, moving on to Water System Operations Contract Advisory Committee. Russ.
A lot going on behind the scenes, a lot of just a lot of back and forth between the three municipalities in terms of trying to get to a final agreement here. Ryan, do we have a next meeting scheduled? Is that on the books yet? I don't think it is.
Not yet. Still,
Okay.
still working on that some financial analysis and hopefully once that's done or close to being done, we'll be in a better position to have that.
Yeah, probably the biggest takeaway from the current discussion is from a city standpoint, making sure that we're protecting the assets we've invested in over the past 40 years, pipes, drainage, et cetera, and making sure that we get value for that in this new agreement. So it took us 40 years to get here, and it's another 40 years looking forward. There's a lot of considerations we have to make for our people that have invested in our part of the process. So a lot to talk about. So.
Logo and Branding Advisory Committee. There's, other than we had another meeting, we finalized our decision on what we are going to present to all of you. And I believe we will be doing that at a presentation at the next workshop, right, Brian?
If not the next one, the one after. I think they still got to,
We've
do a
got
few-
one more tweak to look
Yeah,
at, if I remember.
they're going to finalize the presentation and at least send that out to the group, and assuming that's good. So probably the second. Yeah.
Okay, so in 2 more workshops, we'll be seeing that in front of us.
I'm excited. These meetings have not been YouTubed, right?
No,
Right. I'm
No.
excited to see the 3 logos that you're going to present.
it'll be just one recommendation.
Oh, just one
Just
recommendation?
Recommendation, yes.
No, originally when you talked about it, didn't you say you were going to bring 3?
So we, as a group, we got it down to 3, but we will present you what we feel is the best.
Okay.
Yep,
And it took a while to get there with that.
yeah,
Oh, sure.
yeah.
Oh, I'm
That's the other question I asked too, is about, are we going to have any other public input other than just the workshop that people will be, if they want to tune into? Not yet.
Don't think that was the plan, other than to present what, the committee is recommending
Mhm.
at that
Oh, we'll
workshop.
See it that time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Great,
Yep.
thanks.
okay. Looking forward to it.
Okay, Parking Improvement Task Force, Gregory.
We continue to make steady progress as we work to develop, some recommendations that we'll be bringing to you to the city. Probably have another meeting or 2 after we're done with Walker Consultants. One of the biggest topics of the last meeting was a conceptual idea to convert Butler Street from 2-way to 1-way traffic. The proposal would keep parallel parking on one side of the street while adding angled parking on the other, potentially creating around 60 additional parking places. It's important to note that this is just a concept that we're talking about. No decisions have been made to say that, we're going to propose this to the city. So everybody calm down. It's important to note that the task force spent considerable time discussing how a change like that would affect traffic flow, delivery trucks, emergency vehicles. We talked about, reaching out to the fire department to, see what they would think. And so we're doing that right now too, I believe, reaching out to Greg to see, what he thought of that. Pedestrian safety and the overall feel of downtown. Before moving any further, members asked that, all the public safety officials would review the idea as well. Walker Consultants will also explore similar concepts for Water Street and Elizabeth Street, while the potential for changes on Lucy Street appear much more limited because it's so narrow, with only about 6 additional spaces that would be available if we could do that on Lucy. So probably won't be recommending a whole lot of changes for Lucy. We heard an update on outreach of about 72 downtown businesses. Wendy Colson, she took on that task very well. She volunteered. Business owners generally appreciated being included in the conversation. Their feedback provided valuable insight into employee parking, visitor behavior, and downtown parking challenges. One common theme was that parking issues aren't always about having too few spaces. They're also about where people park, how long they stay, and what visitors expect. The discussion included ideas such as designing or designating employee parking areas, expanded use of remote lots with interurban shuttle service that we've already been implementing, and ways to improve parking turnover without creating unintended consequences or people feeling like they're not welcome to be here, whether they work here or whether they're visiting. Accessibility also remained a priority. The committee reviewed possible locations for additional 15-minute parking places, perhaps in front of the pharmacy, places where it's important, and then also increasing the number of accessible parking spaces. We found out that our average was the average recommended accessible parking spaces. We are way below the average, and we can see where the downtown area, particularly like near restrooms and other high traffic areas, high demand destinations, the goal is to improve accessibility while ensuring safe curb access, wheelchair loading areas, and convenient connections to sidewalks and transit. Community engagement remains an important part of the process. We had a lot of people that were really active when we kicked this off with our survey. A lot of people participated. Most of them were residents of the area. Walker Consultants task force members, as well as our city manager, Ryan Covens. We all were at Music in the Park, giving the public an opportunity to ask questions, share concerns, and provide feedback on downtown parking. I was there myself, blowing bubbles in between my social district drinking. Additional peak season parking data will also be collected to better understand summer parking patterns before final recommendations are developed. Walker will continue analyzing parking conditions, prepare additional street concepts for Water Street and Elizabeth Street, and present updated findings at upcoming meetings. The next parking task force meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, July 29th. That's this Wednesday. And then after that, we're only going to have one more meeting, and we'll wrap things up on Tuesday, August 25th, as we work towards making those recommendations. Walker Consultants will come up with our deliverables, and from there, we'll probably have at least one meeting, maybe two, so we can get together with a group and come up with what Walker found and what we feel are the best ideas to improve parking here in City of Saugatuck.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'd just like to thank Councilman Muncy and the rest of the task force members that were there and the city manager for engaging with the community at Music in the Park. You guys were very busy. You're getting a lot of interest.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, a lot of people coming up and engaging. Ryan stayed for the entire concert. I was happy about that. I wanted to find him a Hawaiian shirt though, or something.
He was the most formal.
Right, he was very
of the
formally
attendees
dressed.
at
He had
Music Park.
his work attire on. I had offered to, to give him a wardrobe change from my closet.
But thank you to you, Kathy Brockington and Ryan for.
But yeah, Ryan did a
Yeah.
great job engaging with people, as well as John. He was wonderful, and his wife too. His wife wife also was up there, also engaging with folks with our info boards that Walker created. So.
All right, Gregory, thank you so much. We are on to public comment on whatever you would like to discuss tonight. Is there anyone in the room that would like to speak? Okay, anyone? Oh, go ahead, Barry, come on up.
I'll take my Cal Lake hat off and be a citizen of Saugatuck, and we couldn't have had more better people on that sewer and water agreement than Russ and Joe. They're being tenacious.
Thank you.
And, you know, there's some yin and yang going on there. Some people that need a lot more capacity and us protecting our capacity. So that's a great thing. And I would agree that now that I'm using a cane, that there's not enough accessible parking in town. You know, we have a secret parking place in front of the drugstore. You know, but
Right.
there's nothing in front of the drugstore, and we all need prescriptions, you know, so.
Mhm.
And I'm not parked legally in front of City Hall here, so. Yeah, so thanks for looking at that.
Yep.
All right,
Thank
Barry, thank you.
Thanks, Barry.
Anyone else in the room or anyone online? Okay. We don't, there was correspondence, yes? No correspondence today, not tonight. Okay, so we have council comments. Gregory, would you like to start?
Just a reminder that, and let me look at my calendar real quick. And I know this is a couple weeks in advance, but just a real quick reminder that instead of the third Thursday of the month next month for sidewalk sale, just to remind everybody, it's going to be on Wednesday, the third Wednesday, the day before. So other than that, music in the park continues, and I just want to put that out there. I think there'll be a little bit of confusion about the sidewalk sale. It's been happening here for years. I used to facilitate that, if you remember. But we had it on Thursdays for years and years. It was decided to do on a Wednesday, and just maybe if we can tell our constituents or get the word out somehow to remind everybody.
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you. Scott?
Nothing tonight.
Okay. Russ?
I would just say that it's been a great summer. The weather's been pretty good for everybody, and we spent some time in another couple of states over the past 7 days, and it's just a good reminder of how special this place is. It's a special place. So glad to be back.
No comments. All right, and I don't have anything tonight either. So does
Move to
anyone?
adjourn.
Okay, do I have a second? All those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yeah.